I'm going to show you how to use some tools in Lightroom that I haven't really discussed before. One of them is called the Selective Edit tool or the masking tool, um, and the other one is called the healing tool. These tools can be found in the online version, but actually we can do more if you are on the desktop version. So if you're working on a computer, instead of going to online Lightroom, you're going to go ahead and open up the application. If you don't have that open, let's see, if I click on Launchpad, I can scroll through and find Lightroom that way and just open it up. So I'm in Lightroom and I went ahead already and I downloaded this image right here, which is in the presentation, and added it. So I'm going to just skip all those steps and I'm going to make this kind of, my versions go away for a second. So I want to show you how to do this. So before I even get started, I'm going to go back to the version I already created and I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So I'm going to redo it all. It's pretty easy. So to get started, in the past, every single time you guys have been doing an edit, you've been doing what's called a global edit. Oh, wait, that's not the original. Let me go back to the original. There we are. So a global edit, of course, is when you do an editing and it changes everything. But what if you wanted to manipulate like just this place? And then more importantly, or in addition to that, not more importantly, what if you have something on your image that you want to get rid of for a variety of reasons? So like I have this little shadow in the corner. I'd really like to get rid of that. So let me show you how to get started. I'm going to start by using the healing tool. So if I click on this tool, you can see there's several options here. One of them is the clone stamp size. The other one is healing, and this one, content aware remove. And they all do something that's pretty similar to each other. Like, so if I come over here and I just kind of hover over and just paint over that, it just takes like the surrounding area and it messes with it. And actually does a pretty good job making that work. So just by doing that, I think I could clean this up pretty well. Clone stamping is a little bit different. It's actually taking an area of the photo. And by the way, if you're wondering how I'm making the brush bigger or smaller without coming over here, I can do that by going to the letter P on my keyboard and going to the left and right bracket key and clicking. So for example, let's say I wanted to get rid of this right here, which I don't mind it being there, but if I click on it, what it's doing is it's sampling from another portion. So if I move this one around, see how it grabs whatever I sample from. So that's clone stamping, and sometimes that can be very useful. And then the healing brush is, let's just play around with that. I'll make this a little bit bigger, and I'm going to go ahead and grab that. It's pretty much, I don't really see much of a difference, to be honest, between the healing brush and the clone stamp tool, but you can see it kind of takes from like a section of it and moves it over. You just want to be careful because obviously, like if I put these next to each other, some people recognize like those are identical scratches. So I try to kind of hide this, and I also try to play around with the size. So I'm going to click on the original one, and if I can't make it smaller, what I'm going to do is click on it, and I'm going to hit delete, and I'm going to try that again with a smaller size because the brush was just a little bit too big there. So I'm going to grab that. That's a much better size. Yeah, there we go. And it's like God. So so that's how that works. Now with the brush tool, that's a little bit different. For that one, you're clicking on the round circle, and there's all these options, and we're going to talk about different things in a little bit. But for now, go to the brush tool. And again, if the brush is too big, you can either make the brush size smaller. You can also play with the feather. Now, feather is important because if it's a no feather, what that means is you're just going to get a clean edge right there on the image. And if you have the feather set to something really high, you're going to notice, let me see if I can zoom in to show you, that there's like I'll make it 100% just to really like make it clear. There's kind of, see how it's like fuzzy? I don't know if you can see the difference between, let me move that over, between those two. See how that's fuzzy and that's clean? They both have their benefits, so it really kind of depends on what you're doing. But if you have a harsh edge or you kind of want something to fade away, you're going to do one or the other. So I just created a mask by doing this, and I don't really need this mask to be here, but instead of getting rid of it, I could just come up here to the mask, click on these three dots, and I could just hit delete the mask, which I guess I'll do because it's working smarter and not harder. I'll go back and click on the brush, and what I want to do is paint in this rock here. So if my brush is too small, I'm going to make it bigger. And I probably don't want my feather to be super high, maybe around like, I'm going to make it 20. So it's got a soft edge, and I'm going to go ahead and paint this in. Now the red is just a reference color to show you where you have painted. And as you're working, because I'm trying to paint this rock, as I go, if I want to get into some of these smaller areas up here, this brush is just a little bit too clunky in my opinion to do that. So once I get this done, and I'll show you how to clean that up. I intentionally made it go a little bit too far. I'll show you how to clean that up as well. So I'm going to start by cleaning this up by clicking on the eraser tool and then coming over. And I want this to be a little smaller. So I'm making my eraser smaller in the same way I would my, my brush by clicking on the left bracket tool, or if I want to, I can just come over here and click on size, and then I can go ahead and erase where I accidentally painted over a little bit too much. So I'm being a little sloppy about this, but I'm trying to speed this along because you don't want to have to watch me do this. And in fact, I'm going to deliberately leave some of this open. I'm going to go back to the brush again, make this smaller, and I'll paint this stuff down here, but it's not very neat, not very clean. I'm definitely making some mistakes, and I'm intentionally missing a spot because I want to show you how you can go back and clean up some of this mess afterwards if it is, you know, a mess. So no worries, right? Okay, so let's say I have that and I wanted to go ahead and turn this rock like another color. Well, because I have it turned on to selective edits, this means that only this spot's going to be edited. So I'm going to come down to my colors right here, and you can see that if I play around with temperature, see how only this rock is changing, right? So I can make it blue. It doesn't really like dramatically change the colors, and for some reason I can't seem to move this hue around at all. Although if I do that, there we go. Oh, okay, so I can move it around. So if I wanted the rock to be green or whatever color, I can just unclick Use Fine Adjustment and really play around with it. But I kind of like that blue color actually that I had originally. So I'm going to unclick that and bring that blue back, which I think was this way. We had those. Yeah, there we are. Okay. And then once I have that, I can see that I'm missing a spot right here. So I can just go back and just keep painting in here after the fact. And, you know, if something is either missing or I went over the edge too much, I can go back in with the eraser. So it's a pretty cool tool to use. And then when I'm done with the selected edit, all I have to do is just click on my editing tool and I'm out of my mask and I'm back over here. And you can create multiple selected edits doing this, not just one. But now that I have this, if I wanted to like go in and add like a global edit, I can do that and it edits the whole photo after the fact. So goals, you're gonna clean up the blemish here, clean up the what's it called here, and what the heck, try changing the color of these three rocks so they're all different from each other using the selected editing tool. So I'll go back, create a new mask, because I have to do that, and it's going to ask again. So I'll do brush, and then this is a brand new one, so it's not going to be, it's not going to affect the other edit I have. And I'm just going to make this different colors. So do that, and then once I have it, I'm going to play around with my colors again. So here's temperature and tint, and you can see how that works pretty well. And if you need to do any modifications or edits, voila, it's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. Okay, and then you're going to do the same one, doing the same thing. So now it's my third rock. Click on it, right? Create a new mask, brush, and make this a nice big brush, because who wants to have to sit here and paint all this in really quickly, or slowly, should I say? And yikes, and I went way over, unfortunately, over there, but that's fine. I just go back in with the eraser tool once I have this all set up. So again, now that I have this, with the understanding that I need to do a little bit of erasing there, I might as well just do that now. Why wait, right? Clean that up. Go back and make this a brush again and clean this up. And then change your color. And obviously you can see where I definitely need to do some cleanups. Those really show up, but it's not hard to go back in and do just that, as long as you have the basic tools in front of you. And I think you get the idea of where we're going with this. All right, so once you're done with all that, and I'm not quite done, but I just wanted to get you guys going with this. I'm going to head over to my versions button, of course, create a version. If it's on auto, just switch to named, hit create version, and then I edit it. And then, of course, you can go ahead and download that and turn that in the way we always have. If you already know how to do that, you can skip this part. But if you're like, how do you do that? When you're all done with your editing, you have to be out of the editing toolbar. So if this is here, unclick on that, come on up here, and then what you're going to do is you're going to say JPEG large when this pops up. And then you can go ahead and download that and hit export. And then from there, hang on, the phone's ringing. And then from there, you're going to turn this into Schoology. Have fun.